From drug lords to organized crime leaders, these individuals were once feared and revered, but now their power has been stripped away. These notorious criminals, once at the top of their criminal empires, now find themselves behind bars, paying for their heinous crimes. In today's video, we delve into the dark and sinister world of mafia bosses who are currently rotting away in jail in 2024. Servando the teacher, Gomez Martinez. Servando Gomez Martinez, famously known as the Teacher or La Tuta, was once a prominent figure in the Mexican drug trade. Born on February 6, 1966, in Arteaga, Michoacán, Mexico, he would go on to become a feared leader of the Knights Templar cartel, a criminal organization based in the state of Michoacán. However, his reign of terror came to an end in 2015 when he was captured by Mexican security forces. In this section, we will delve into the background of Servando Gomez Martinez, his criminal activities, and the circumstances that ultimately led to his arrest. Gomez Martinez's journey into the world of crime began when he co-founded the La Familia Michoacana drug cartel in 2006. This organization, known for its quasi-religious practices, was led by Nazario Moreno Gonzalez, who referred to their violent acts as divine justice. Gomez Martinez played a crucial role as the operational chief and spokesperson for La Familia, ensuring the smooth running of their drug trafficking activities and acquiring weapons for the cartel. However, the dynamics within the cartel shifted when Arnold Rueda Medina, also known as La Minsa, was arrested. Gomez Martinez seized the opportunity and assumed leadership of La Familia. Under his command, the cartel became increasingly powerful and expanded its operations. But tensions arose within the organization, leading to a split. Gomez Martinez broke away from José de Jesus Méndez Vargas and formed the Knights Templar cartel, a splinter group that soon developed a fierce rivalry with La Familia. The Knights Templar cartel, under Gomez Martinez's leadership, adopted a different approach, presenting themselves as a necessary evil and a brotherhood founded on a set of statutes and codes. They claimed to be defenders of the people, preserving the state and fighting against those who cause terror. In a 2012 video, Gomez Martinez called for other cartels to join forces against Los Zetas, one of Mexico's most powerful drug trafficking organizations. He even urged then-President Felipe Calderón to take action against Los Zetas. Despite his attempts to portray the Knights Templar as a force for good, their criminal activities continued to wreak havoc. The United States Department of the Treasury sanctioned Gomez Martinez under the Foreign Narcotics Kingpin Designation Act in 2010, along with other international criminals and foreign entities involved in drug trafficking. This designation prohibited U.S. citizens and companies from engaging in any business activities with him and froze his assets in the U.S. Gomez Martinez's reign of terror came to an end on February 27, 2015, when he was captured by an elite squadron of the Mexican Federal Police in Morelia, Michoacán. The operation, conducted without firing a single shot, led to his transfer to the CEDO installations in Mexico City for legal proceedings. That same night, he was transferred to the Federal Social Rehabilitation Center No. 1, a maximum security prison in Almoloya de Juarez, state of Mexico. The police were able to locate Gomez Martinez in a cave near Morelia after his girlfriend ordered a chocolate cake for his 49th birthday, raising suspicion among the authorities. At the time of his arrest, he was one of Mexico's most wanted drug lords. He faced charges of organized crime, kidnapping, and drug trafficking offenses. Despite being incarcerated, Gomez Martinez's criminal legacy continued to haunt Mexico. During Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán's second escape in 2015, Gomez Martinez, also imprisoned in the maximum security prison of Almoloya, attempted to facilitate his own escape by faking a heart attack. However, his plan was unsuccessful, and he was eventually sentenced to 55 years in jail for the kidnapping of a businessman in 2011. This once feared mafia boss now spends his days behind bars, a mere shadow of the powerful figure he once was. Vincent "Vinny" Gorgeous Basano. Vincent "Vinny" Gorgeous Basano, a name that strikes fear into the hearts of many, was once a powerful figure in the world of organized crime. Born on November 14, 1959 in New York City, Basano would go on to become the acting boss of the Bonanno crime family, following the arrest of Joseph Massino, but his reign of terror would eventually come to an end, leading to a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Basano earned his nickname, Vinny Gorgeous, not only for his involvement in criminal activities but also for his ownership of a Bronx beauty salon called Hello Gorgeous. Known for his fastidious grooming, impeccable hairstyle, and striking looks, Basano presented himself as a man of style and sophistication. However, behind the facade of a successful businessman, Basano was deeply involved in the dark underbelly of the Mafia. In 2004, his criminal activities caught up with him when he was arrested and put on trial. The charges against him included running illegal gambling operations and attempted murder. The trial that followed was lengthy and filled with shocking revelations. On May 6, 2006, Basano was convicted in a racketeering trial, but the jury could not reach a verdict on the 2001 murder of Frank Santoro. Despite this setback, prosecutors were determined to bring him to justice. In a retrial, Basano faced charges related to the murder of Santoro, who had attempted to kidnap Basano's son. On August 1, 2007, he was found guilty of the murder, thanks in part to recordings made by Giuseppe Falsone, who had turned state's evidence. These recordings captured Basano boasting about his criminal activities, declaring himself a hoodlum and a tough guy. But it wasn't just Santoro's murder that Basano was implicated in. Giuseppe Falsone had also reported that Basano had conspired to kill prosecutor Greg Andres. Falsone agreed to wear a wire when he met Basano in jail, hoping to gather evidence against him. While Falsone couldn't extract a clear confession regarding Andres, he did record Basano freely admitting to ordering the murder of associate Randolph "Randy" Pizzolo. On May 16, 2011, Basano was convicted of ordering the 2004 murder of Pizzolo. The prosecution sought the death penalty, but on June 1, 2011, the jury decided to sentence him to life imprisonment instead. Basano's fate was sealed, and he would spend the rest of his days behind bars. Initially incarcerated at the Supermax prison ADX Florence, known for its strict security measures, Basano was later transferred to the nearby United States Penitentiary, Florence High, in Florence, Colorado. Currently, he is serving his sentence at USP Big Sandy, where he remains isolated from the outside world. Even in the confines of prison, Basano's commitment to his appearance remained unwavering. Reporters noted that despite being in solitary confinement for the past 4 years, he still appeared perfectly groomed in the courtroom during his trial. It was a testament to his meticulous nature and his desire to maintain an air of power and control. The story of Vincent "Vinny" Gorgeous Basano serves as a chilling reminder of the ruthlessness and brutality of the Mafia. His rise to power, involvement in illegal activities, and eventual downfall are a testament to the tireless efforts of law enforcement to bring down organized crime. Kenneth Supreme McGriff. Kenneth Supreme McGriff, a name that strikes fear into the hearts of many, rose to power in the early 1980s as a prominent drug lord and gangster in New York City. McGriff's journey into a life of crime began in the neighborhood where he was raised, Baisley Park in the South Jamaica section of Queens. McGriff established his own crack cocaine distributing and manufacturing organization, which he aptly named the Supreme Team. Under his leadership, the gang's numbers swelled to the hundreds, and they quickly gained control over the crack cocaine trade in the neighborhood. McGriff's charisma and ruthless tactics propelled him to the top of the criminal underworld. The crack cocaine epidemic was sweeping through the streets of New York City, and McGriff saw an opportunity to capitalize on the demand for this highly addictive drug. However, McGriff's reign of terror would eventually come to an end. In 1987, a joint state and federal investigation led to his arrest, exposing the extent of his criminal activities. The court sentenced McGriff to 12 years of incarceration, a significant blow to his empire. Despite the setback, McGriff's influence continued to linger, and his criminal connections remained intact. His reputation as a formidable force in the drug trade only grew during his time behind bars. After serving approximately 5 years of his sentence, McGriff was released from prison on parole in early 1994, but the authorities were not done with him yet. They closely monitored his every move, knowing that he posed a significant threat to society. Kenneth Supreme McGriff's criminal activities extended far beyond drug trafficking. He was alleged to have been involved in 2 high-profile murders that sent shockwaves through the music industry and the hip-hop community. These incidents shed light on the dark and violent world in which McGriff operated. One of the most notorious cases linked to McGriff was the murder of Jam Master Jay, a member of the iconic hip-hop group Run DMC. In 2002, Jam Master Jay was shot and killed in his recording studio in Queens, New York. The murder sent shockwaves through the music industry, leaving fans and fellow artists in disbelief. Federal authorities soon turned their attention to McGriff, suspecting suspecting his involvement in the murder. The motive behind the killing was believed to be retaliation for the death of McGriff's friend, Colbert Black Just Johnson. McGriff allegedly ordered the hit on Jam Master Jay as a form of retribution, seeking to avenge the loss of his associate. But the allegations against McGriff did not stop there. He was also convicted of ordering the death of rapper Eric E. Moneybag Smith in 2001. The motive behind this murder was once again tied to revenge. McGriff believed that Smith was responsible for the killing of his friend, Colbert Black Just Johnson, and sought to settle the score. These shocking incidents brought federal authorities closer to McGriff, and they accused him of being involved in a web of criminal activities. The allegations went beyond murder, as McGriff was also implicated in the attempted murder of rapper 50 Cent. The authorities believed that McGriff had orchestrated the hit on 50 Cent, further solidifying his reputation as a ruthless and dangerous figure in the criminal underworld. The evidence against McGriff was compelling, and on February 1, 2007, he was convicted of murder for hire at a federal court in the Eastern District of New York. The jury deliberated for 5 days before finding him guilty of murder conspiracy and drug trafficking. The charges were a culmination of years of investigation and the relentless pursuit of justice. The sentencing was swift and severe. On February 9, 2007, McGriff was sentenced to life in prison, ensuring that he would spend the rest of his days behind bars. Throughout the trial, he was defended by a court-appointed attorney, as nearly all of his assets had been seized. The justice system was determined to strip McGriff of his power and influence, leaving him to rot in a prison cell. David Thai. David Thai, a cunning and manipulative figure, was the founder and leader of the notorious Born to Kill gang in the late 1980s and early 1990s. But Thai's criminal empire extended far beyond gang activity. He also ran a massive, illegal counterfeit watch operation in New York, controlling the market and distribution through blackmail and extortion. David Thai, originally known as Thai Tho Hoang, was born on January 30, 1956, in Saigon, South Vietnam. As a young teenager in Saigon, Thai played the role of a mediator between the American GIs stationed in Saigon who were seeking drugs and the Binh Xuyen, an independent military group involved in various illicit activities during the Vietnam War. Following the fall of Saigon at the end of the war, Hoang's father was imprisoned by the victorious communists and sent to a re-education camp. However, he managed to arrange for Thai's escape from Saigon. 3 months later, Hoang arrived in the United States under the name David. Thai's rise to power began when he arrived in the United States in 1976, seeking a new life in the land of opportunity. Starting with humble jobs, Thai soon ventured into the counterfeit watch business. However, his ambitions didn't stop there. Thai became involved with the Flying Dragons gang before leaving to establish his control over the counterfeit watch industry in Chinatown. Under Thai's leadership, the Born to Kill gang emerged in 1989, uniting various Vietnamese factions in New York. Thai's influence over his gang members was unparalleled. He forced them to sign contracts pledging their loyalty and forbidding any cooperation with the police without his permission. Thai's gang primarily generated revenue through the sale of fake Rolex and Cartier watches, using intimidation tactics to force merchants to buy their products. But Thai's criminal activities didn't stop at counterfeiting watches. The Born to Kill gang engaged in a wide range of criminal endeavors, including robberies and extortion. Thai's refusal to attend a meeting with the advisor for life of the Hip Sing Tong, a powerful Chinese criminal organization, sparked retaliation from the Chinese community. The gang was involved in a double homicide on Canal Street and the murder of Sen Van Ta, who had the audacity to refuse to pay extortion money. Thai's reign of terror came to an abrupt end in 1991 when he was arrested after an extensive investigation by the ATF and the help of an undercover informant. During his trial, Thai vehemently denied being the leader of Born to Kill, but the evidence against him was overwhelming. He was ultimately convicted of racketeering, murder, attempted murder, robbery, racketeering, and extortion, among other charges. The court sentenced Thai to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Thai's arrest not only dismantled his criminal empire, but also prevented him from realizing his long-term plans of forging alliances with other criminal organizations and uniting the Vietnamese underworld in the United States. Despite his ruthless nature, Thai had presented himself as a community leader, claiming to have been helping the Vietnamese community. However, his true colors were exposed, and he was revealed as a cunning and brutal gangster who had terrorized the streets of New York City. Today, David Thai remains behind bars serving his life sentence. His story serves as a chilling reminder of the consequences that await those who choose a life of crime. Maria Licciardi. In the gritty streets of Naples, a woman emerged as one of the most powerful figures in the Camorra, the notorious Italian Mafia. Maria Licciardi, also known as La Madrina, or the Godmother, defied the traditional gender roles within the criminal underworld and rose to become the head of the Licciardi clan and the Secondigliano alliance. Born and raised in the Neapolitan suburb of Secondigliano, Licciardi came from a family deeply entrenched in the Camorra. Her father was a well-known local boss, and her brothers, Gennaro and Vincenzo, were also influential figures in the criminal organization. Licciardi's ascent to power began when her two brothers, Pietro and Vincenzo, and her husband, Antonio Tegemie, were arrested. With the clan in disarray, she seized the opportunity and took over as the head of the Licciardi clan, becoming the first female camorrista to hold such a position. She also assumed leadership of the Secondigliano alliance, a coalition of powerful Camorra clans that controlled drug trafficking and extortion rackets in many suburbs of Naples. Her goal was to expand their control over the city's most lucrative rackets, including drugs, cigarette smuggling, protection, and prostitution. Licciardi's leadership marked a turning point for the Licciardi clan and the Secondigliano alliance. Under her guidance, the organization became more organized, secretive, and sophisticated, making it even more powerful than before. Licciardi's intelligence, practicality, and ruthlessness earned her the respect of her peers and the fear of her enemies. One of the most significant changes Licciardi introduced to the clan was the involvement in the prostitution trade. Breaking the Camorra's code of conduct, which forbade profiting from prostitution, Licciardi saw an opportunity for increased criminal activity and financial gain. The Camorra would buy girls from the Albanian Mafia for a hefty sum, often promising them legitimate work to escape poverty. However, upon arrival, these girls were practically enslaved and forced into prostitution by the Camorra. Licciardi's involvement in this illicit trade further expanded the clan's influence and criminal activities. Licciardi's reign as the head of the Licciardi clan and the Secondigliano alliance was marked by her ability to maintain a low profile. Unlike many male camorristi, she shunned the limelight and managed to avoid conviction or even suspicion of any crime. Licciardi's steely charisma and calculated approach to her criminal endeavors set her apart from her male counterparts. Under Licciardi's leadership, the Licciardi clan generated a great amount of goodwill among the local populace. The clan continued the tradition of providing occasional handouts to the neighborhood's poor, becoming a principal source of employment in Secondigliano. In an area with limited social security benefits and high unemployment rates, the Licciardi clan played a significant role in the community. However, Licciardi's reign eventually faced challenges and led to her downfall. A disagreement arose over a consignment of pure, unrefined heroin, which Licciardi believed was too potent for the average user and would result in deaths among their customer base. The Lo Russo clan, who had long chafed under her leadership, disagreed and sold the heroin on the streets. The sale of the unrefined heroin caused the deaths of many drug addicts, sparking public outrage and triggering massive police crackdowns on the Camorra clans. Numerous camorristi were arrested and imprisoned. The Lo Russo clan eventually split from the Secondigliano alliance, leading to disintegration and a bloody gang war. Clans fought over turf and attempted to destroy or take control of each other's businesses. Licciardi found herself forced to retaliate when 4 clan members were murdered in her stronghold of Secondigliano. She mobilized her foot soldiers for an all-out counterattack, resulting in a wave of violence that claimed nearly 120 lives in Naples and the surrounding region. It was during this time that investigators became aware of Licciardi's existence. Despite her efforts to evade capture, Licciardi's luck eventually ran out. Maria Licciardi was arrested in August 2021 while attempting to fly to Spain from Rome's Ciampino airport. She did not resist arrest and was ultimately sentenced to prison. She was found guilty of being the leader of a Camorra clan founded by her brothers and was sentenced to almost 13 years in prison by an Italian court in March 2023. Giuseppe Falsone. Giuseppe Falsone, born on August 28, 1970, in Campobello di Licata, Sicily, comes from a deeply rooted Mafia heritage. His father, Vincenzo Falsone, born in 1930, was the undisputed Mafia boss of the town for many years. Vincenzo Falsone's influence extended beyond Campobello di Licata, as he had strong connections with other prominent Mafia bosses in the province of Agrigento. Giuseppe Falsone's father was well acquainted with Mafia bosses such as Giuseppe Setecassi, Carmelo Coletti, and Giuseppe di Caro, who held the position of Capo Provincia of Agrigento in the past. These connections provided the Falsone family with a significant amount of power and influence within the Mafia hierarchy. However, tragedy struck the Falsone family on June 24, 1991, when Vincenzo Falsone and Giuseppe's elder brother Angelo were brutally killed by the Stida during a vicious war with rival Cosa Nostra clans. This devastating event marked a turning point in Giuseppe's life, as he was thrust into a position of leadership within the Mafia family at a young age. At the tender age of 21, Giuseppe Falsone took over the reins of the Mafia family, vowing to avenge the deaths of his father and brother. In a retaliatory act, Falsone hunted down Salvatore Ingaglio, the man responsible for the murders, and took his life. This act of violence solidified Falsone's position within the criminal underworld and earned him a reputation as a ruthless and fearless leader. Falsone's rise to power within the Mafia family was swift and relentless. His reputation as a ruthless and cunning leader preceded him. He quickly established himself as a force to be reckoned with, commanding respect and loyalty from his subordinates. His strategic thinking and ability to navigate the complex web of Mafia politics propelled him to the forefront of the criminal organization. As Falsone's influence grew, he became one of the bosses of Cosa Nostra in the province of Agrigento, alongside Ghirlandino Messina from Porto Empedocle. Together, they formed a formidable alliance, further solidifying their control over the region. During his tenure as Capo Provincia, Falsone focused on expanding the Mafia's criminal activities, particularly in the realms of extortion and public work contracts. These lucrative ventures allowed him to amass significant wealth and further strengthen his position within the criminal underworld. The Falsone family's Mafia heritage, combined with Giuseppe's determination and cunning, allowed him to build a powerful criminal empire. His connections and alliances within the Mafia hierarchy provided him with a network of support and resources, enabling him to expand his criminal activities. However, Falsone's reign of power and influence would eventually come to an end. His criminal activities caught the attention of law enforcement, and he was placed on the most wanted list of the Italian Ministry of the Interior in January 1999. This marked the beginning of Falsone's life as a fugitive, constantly on the run from the authorities. Despite his efforts to evade capture, Falsone's criminal empire began to crumble. In July 2004, the police seized assets worth €2 million, including real estate, farmland, a winery, and transport companies. Falsone's mother, sister, and brother were also arrested in connection with his criminal activities, further weakening his position. In June 2008, Falsone narrowly escaped arrest when the police raided a house in Palazzo Adriano in the province of Palermo. However, his luck would eventually run out. In March 2010, the police seized an additional €30 million worth of assets from Falsone, exposing the extent of his illicit wealth. Finally, on June 25, 2010, Falsone's life as a fugitive came to an end when he was apprehended in Marseille, France. Despite undergoing plastic surgery and attempting to conceal his true identity with a false French identity card, his fingerprints ultimately betrayed him. At the time of his arrest, Falsone was considered the Mafia boss of the province of Agrigento by police investigators coordinated by Girolamo Di Fazio, such a powerful man now wasting away behind bars. Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo. Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo, a name that strikes fear into the hearts of many, began his journey to infamy in the rugged landscapes of Sinaloa, Mexico. Born on January 8, 1946, Felix Gallardo grew up on a ranch in Bella Vista, on the outskirts of Culiacan. Little did anyone know that this young man would go on to become one of the most powerful and influential drug lords in history. Felix Gallardo's rise to power can be traced back to his early career as a Mexican federal judicial police agent. It was during this time that he worked as a family bodyguard for the governor of Sinaloa State, Leopoldo Sanchez Celis. Through his association with the governor, Felix Gallardo was able to build connections and establish a network that would later prove instrumental in his drug trafficking endeavors. Felix Gallardo's close ties to the governor and his family proved instrumental in his ascent to power. Not only did he broker corruption among state officials, but he also became the godfather of Sanchez Celis's son, Rodolfo. But it was not until Felix Gallardo joined forces with Rafael Caro Quintero and Ernesto Fonseca Carrillo that his true potential as a drug lord began to emerge. Together, they took control of the drug trafficking routes previously operated by the Avilés criminal organization after its leader was killed in a police shootout. With their newfound control over the trafficking routes, Felix Gallardo, Caro Quintero, and Fonseca Carrillo formed the foundation of what would later become the notorious Guadalajara cartel. Their influence and power would soon extend far beyond Mexico's borders. The Guadalajara cartel quickly became became a dominant force in the Mexican drug trade, thanks to Felix Gallardo's strategic thinking and business acumen. He recognized the importance of forming alliances, particularly with Colombian cartels, to expand their operations and increase their profits. Through his connection with Juan Mata Ballesteros, Felix Gallardo established a lucrative partnership that allowed the cartel to become a major player in the international drug trade. One of the key factors that set the Guadalajara cartel apart was their innovative approach to drug trafficking. While other cartels focused primarily on smuggling cocaine, Felix Gallardo and his associates saw the potential in a new type of marijuana crop that could be grown without seeds. This seedless weed, developed by Caro Quintero, proved to be highly profitable, and the cartel quickly capitalized on its success. With their newfound wealth and power, Felix Gallardo and his partners expanded their operations, controlling much of the drug trafficking in Mexico and the corridors along the Mexico-United States border. The cartel's influence was far-reaching, and their operations were estimated to generate billions of dollars annually. However, Felix Gallardo's thirst for power and control would ultimately lead to his downfall. In 1985, he ordered the kidnapping and brutal murder of DEA agent Enrique "Kiki" Camarena, a move that would spark one of the largest DEA homicide investigations in history. The murder of Camarena exposed the deep-rooted corruption within Mexican law enforcement and government officials, leading to Felix Gallardo's arrest in 1989. As of 2024, Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo has been in prison for approximately 35 years. He was initially sentenced to 40 years in prison. After serving 28 years, a 2017 retrial sentenced him to an additional 37 years. However, due to his deteriorating health, he was granted house arrest in 2022. Therefore, as of 2024, he has served around 35 years of his original 40-year sentence. Despite his incarceration, Felix Gallardo's legacy as the founder of the Guadalajara cartel and his impact on the drug trade cannot be denied. Once the most powerful mafia boss, now left to rot in captivity. If you want to watch more videos like this, click on the video cards on your screen.